University for me was an experience, to say the least. Hello everyone, my name is Melanie and welcome to my corner of the internet. Today I'm going to be discussing my experience at university, and boy oh boy, do I have some stories to tell. So if you've seen my introduction video, I studied digital film production at SAE Institute Liverpool. Honestly, since finishing university, things have been a little bit stir crazy. I've been having an existential crisis. Being an adult is not cool and funky, guys. It's scary. I don't like it. Take me back. My university experience was one that I absolutely loved. Were there bad points? Absolutely. There were horrible points. I got threatened one time. I went through a breakup during uni. Things were just a little bit crazy. I'm going to be a little bit basic and I'm going to do a pros and cons list. When I was looking at university, I was very much weighing, is there any point going to uni, especially for a creative degree? I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about creative degrees and whether they should exist or not. I think they should. Shut up. No, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. Don't hold me against that, please. For me, I think that university has been very beneficial in a lot of different ways, but also not so beneficial. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the cons of university. The most obvious one being university is expensive, especially if you don't have a high maintenance loan that you're given. If you're not from the UK, you can get a maintenance loan, which is a large sum of money that is given to you to basically help you with accommodation, food, and just basically surviving. I'm lucky that I had enough, especially for rent, but I know a lot of people and a lot of friends that didn't have enough maintenance loan and they are struggling to pay rent and barely getting by and using their overdraft. So I feel for them. I moved from the middle of nowhere to a massive city, Liverpool. I say massive. It's massive to me, but size doesn't matter, guys. What was I saying? I got distracted. Liverpool and moving to any city in general is really beneficial, especially if you come from a small town. I think I was the most confident and the most at ease when I left home. It forces you out of your comfort zone. It forces you to be an adult for the first time, which is insane. For anyone worried about going to uni, you figure things out. Even if you don't, sometimes uni is just not for you. I've known a lot of people who have dropped out of uni after 1 year. Sometimes it's just not for some people, and that's okay. Expenses doesn't bother me. I know I'm never going to pay off all the debt that is racked up in my account. So I'm incredibly grateful to have had the experience that none of my family have had, because I was the first person in my family to go to university. Second con. This cons list isn't very big, but they are big cons to me. Loneliness is very much a real thing. Even if you have a group of friends at uni, it can sometimes feel very, very isolating, especially because I did university when COVID was just getting out of that whole thing. I started in 2020, September 2020. Things were still very much paranoia and, masks, and I had at least 2 lockdowns during my first year, so that was incredibly hard. I also caught COVID, and I'll get into that in a minute. It can be very lonely, it can be very isolating, especially if you're like me and an introvert. I found an amazing group of friends at university. Sometimes it was really hard for me. So the third con, which is the biggest one for me, is living with other people. Now let me preface this by saying I am the chillest person to live with. I keep to myself. I clean up after myself. I like my quiet time. I like to just, chill in my room and have a happy environment. That's all I want. That's all I want. Both years that I was in student accommodation were horrendous. The first year, I was in a flat full of boys. Why was I in a flat full of boys? Because I got a cool room with a view. I had floor-to-ceiling windows. I was happy, okay? I was on the corner of the building. It was brilliant. And I saw a giant lamb banana outside of my uni accommodation. It was brilliant. It was private accommodation because my uni is very small and they don't have their own accommodation, so. But it was fine. It was all chill, okay? The flat full of boys was fine. You know, it was great. Apart from one misogynist who thought I was a housewife and made me feel uncomfortable that I didn't eat. That wasn't a fun experience. Second year was even worse. Was with a flat full of girls. And they were final year students, just like I was. My uni was 2 years. I was on an accelerated degree, which means it's 3 years put into 2. I don't get any summer breaks or anything. Crash course, done. The women were worse than the men. They really were. They were catty. They literally bullied me for catching COVID. Now, I have a brother with an autoimmune disease. I kept very clean. I kept very hygienic. I washed my hands at all times. I wore masks when I could, and I still caught COVID. They called me selfish for catching COVID because they couldn't go to, they might not have been able to go to their wedding that they wanted to go to in a month's time. And this was at a point where if you didn't have any symptoms and you weren't testing positive, you could go out. The whole flat didn't have to isolate. It was just me. I offered to clean all the surfaces that I touched. I wore gloves, I wore masks, just so that I could eat in the kitchen. And they said, oh, that's not good enough. You've still got it, so it doesn't matter what you do. It was baffling. It really was baffling. And they were the kind of people that never grew up from high school mentality. And honestly, that's just kind of cringe. Ew. All in all, living with people, not my best idea. And it's put me off for life. I hate it so much. Don't let this put you off student accommodation. I'm just incredibly unlucky and had to play the cards that I was dealt with. Generally, it just wasn't for me. Anyway, moving on to the pros list, because that's the better list. Obviously. Ugh. Number 1, university, whilst it hasn't got me a job, it's led me to a lot of connections that will get me jobs. For example, Sound City, that was through university. I have filmed so many live gigs through university. I've met so many incredible people through university, and especially for a creative degree, building those connections and building network, especially in such a creative field, is so necessary for any creative field. It's about who you know, the people you know, and I think university really helped me with that. Are there people that I wish I never knew? Sure, of course. Connections, massive one for me. Green flag. It also helped me develop a lot of theory. Whilst theory isn't the coolest aspect of my job, it's really integral that I know theory, especially for cameras, for all aspects of production. You know, I had so many modules for cinematography, for producing, for marketing, even for business theory, and that's really helped if I wanted to expand my freelance into my own business. One experience at uni that I wouldn't have been able to develop unless I had $6,000 in my pocket is learning Steadicam. Now, my lecturer is Steadicam trained. We have 2 Steadicams at uni and we were a very, very small group. I was one of the 3 or 4. Tracking. It was really fun. I really love Steadicam. It's a skill that I'd love to develop should I have the money, and I'd love to be certified in it. Had I not gone to uni, I wouldn't have even been able to experience that on any level. So I think that was really cool. Whilst it's a con, like I said before, but I think it's also a good thing, it got me out of my comfort zone a lot. I met a lot of new people, all very different. You know, they weren't my age. There were a lot of mature students. I was the youngest one in my class. It was really good to be around sort of an array of people from different places, all wanting to do different things. You know, not everyone wanted to be a camera operator. A lot of people wanted to be a writer or wanted to be a producer. I think it was really great that our uni encouraged us to collaborate with everyone, even the people that we didn't get along with. The industry is never going to be people that you always like. I think that really geared me up towards towards real life, especially in the film industry, that you're not going to work with people you like. Sometimes you will work with people you like. It made me comfortable with the idea that that would happen. Another cool thing that isn't really a pro but was really cool about my uni is that for the film students in particular, we had an Oscars night. They'd nominate different films. They'd show the films in front of the whole class or even the whole uni. Just want to thank the unending support of Jake and Carl. Then they'd give out little Oscars, and I'm just gonna jump cut time. So these are my 2 prized possessions. I actually won some of the award. I won 2 awards actually. Most people won 1, so I'm kind of proud of myself for it. But I created a documentary which is on my channel about Pans Pandas, which is a condition that my brother suffers from, which I definitely think you should go check out. It's a condition that no one knows about. It helped so many families, and actually I won not 1 but 2 awards for it. So this one is Best Documentary Short, and the second one is Best Director. I keep them on my little desk as a little reminder of where I'm going and what I want to do. And I think it's just really cool. I think that it's something that motivated me, especially because this happened at the end of first year, and I created some really cool things in second year, and I cannot wait to graduate this year. So you'll definitely see a graduation ceremony video later on in the year. That was my experience at uni. I know it was very fast-paced, very pew, pew, pew. Let me know if you've gone to uni, if you're thinking of going to uni. What did you do? Did you do a creative degree like me, or did you do something entirely different? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see them, love to read them. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on because I will try to be posting weekly. If you subscribe, you'll really be supporting me as a small creator and also following my journey as a filmmaker and camera operator. And who knows, maybe one day I'll be holding a real one of these. I'm counting on it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and let me know in the comments what you think of uni. Have a nice day.